Ladies and gentlemen, I want to formally welcome you all to this ministerial press briefing. The maiden edition of this series started on Wednesday and it featured the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abuja CON. Today, this second edition is featuring the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Honorable Minister, I welcome you. Thank you for coming. At press briefings like this, we share very useful information and we update you on current developments within the system. I want to most sincerely welcome you and thank you once again for coming. Before I invite the chief moderator of this event, the chief host, the Honorable Minister,
Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, the guest minister, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anita, are all seated before the gentlemen of the press. Thank you once again for joining us.
Council and the Chief Executive of Southwest, Mr. Dili Ezuga is here too. Thank you very much for coming. I want to believe I'm not skipping anyone from the ministry. From Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, we have some of the heads of agencies and parastatals here. We have with us the MD and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority, Dr. Olufemi Oguyemi. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Also with us, we have the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman, Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal, CCPT, Ajia Saratu M. Shafi. Thank you for coming. As we identify some of your chief executives in the course of this press briefing, we will duly identify and recognize you. Thank you so much for coming. Before the chief host will give his opening remarks, let me quickly give this information. This one is directed to all the members of the press that are seated. When we get to the question and answer segment, because I know after the presentation of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, we may likely take one or two questions from the gentlemen of the media. Please, when we get to that segment, and you are recognized to speak, you tell us your name, the media organization you are representing, and please restrict your questions to the issues to be addressed in the presentation of the Honorable Minister, who is our special guest today. I want to plead with you, please, let us be decent enough in the use of language. We will always appreciate that. Having said this, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me inform this gathering that we also have with us the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President on Media, Mr. Tunde Rahman with us. Thank you so much for coming. You're welcome. At this point, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to respectfully invite we have Mr. Charles Obi, DG Snyder with us too. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to respectfully request the Chief Host and the Chief Moderator of this event, the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, to please give the opening remarks. Honorable Minister, sir.
afternoon, my colleagues, fellow reporters and editors. The Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris, the two permanent secretaries, that of Minister of Information and National Orientation, and the permanent secretary, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Distinguished gentlemen of the media, first let me begin by thanking all of you for again finding time to be here this afternoon. Only 2 days ago, we had the maiden edition of the Ministerial press briefing. And like I said 2 days ago, this is a continuation of that Ministerial press briefing. Now, what we intend to do is to invite ministers and other heads of agencies periodically to inform Nigerians about what they are doing in their various ministries and agencies so that Nigerians will know what is happening. This, of course, is part of the promise that we have made to Nigerians at the inception of this administration, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is desirous of ensuring that Nigerians get to know about programs and policies of government. After all, this government is for the people, and therefore it is important for the people to know what they are doing. Of course, it's not possible to have everyone here, and that is why we have invited distinguished members of the media to come here and report to the entire country and even beyond about what we do here. This, like I said 2 days ago, is going to be a continuous thing. Periodically, we'll be giving you information about who we're inviting to come, and ministers are also at liberty to come with heads of their agencies in the event that they need further clarification or further answers of some of the issues that may arise from here. We have told you from the beginning that we will be very honest, we will be very transparent, we will be accountable to you in the way and manner public information is being managed in this country. And this is one of such attempts that we are doing. So as we sit down here, I urge all of you to please listen attentively to the Honorable Minister. If there are areas that you think you need clarification or you want answers, the Honorable Minister will be glad to answer them. But like the moderator said, it is important that we limit ourselves to what the minister is saying so that we don't cast the net too wide and at the end we lose focus about what has brought us here. Once again, I thank you all for coming, and like I said, this is only the second edition. Next time we'll also bring another minister to you, and he will also come with members of his team so that they will avail Nigerians of the information they require as this administration progresses. Thank you for coming once again, and I therefore invite my colleague, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris, to have the floor, after which distinguished members of the media will have opportunity to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for information, and thank you, the audience, for coming. Please permit me to sit on the existing established protocol. I will just go straight to the points and why we're here. We've been in office since May 29, and from the first day of his taking office, the president removed the PMS subsidy. That was a move, a very bold move, no president had ever done in this country. And he understood that that was an impediment to investment, and it was an impediment to national growth and development. Subsequently, afterwards, he also removed the FX subsidy by unifying the exchange rates. And since then, we have a more liberalized economy that's open for business and open for foreign investment. Afterwards, the president started traveling to engage with international community on how to deepen investment, drive investment, and grow the economy. I was also a part of that entourage. And I want to announce to you, as you already know, as your members of the press, The first visit we went to was in India, where we had a commitment of $14 billion, and the $14 billion came in. First, we got an expression of interest from one of the leading steel manufacturers from India, who pledged $7 billion, and we're processing that expression of interest currently within an interministerial committee. Secondly, about a month ago, the Nigerian India Business Council came with their counterparts from the Federation of Indian Industries, and the $7 billion additional was also materialized. They've started investing in the country, and that's a testament to the policies and the reforms of His Excellency, the President, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Furthermore, we've also received a lot of investment, commitments and pledges from our oil and gas free zone alone. Last week, I hosted some of them who came in and have already committed $10 billion additionally. The MD of the free zone is here. The oil and gas free zone is not here, but that was also captured in the media. We have $10 billion additionally that has been committed. Then I hosted the MD of Shell, who also came to see me in my office and explained to me about the plans and investment plans of Shell. I know a lot of us have heard that Shell is leaving. He came to explain to me what they mean by that. I can tell you that they are not leaving. Rather, they are expanding and increasing their investment in Nigeria. They are selling their onshore assets and increasing their investment in gas and in offshore assets. We have more investment pledges coming from other interested parties. We are hosting delegations from different countries, and as they come with investment pledges. None of this investment will come in if the president did not take the bold step to take away the double subsidies that was plaguing the economy. With investment, increase in investment comes jobs, job growth, job opportunities, economic growth, and this is what we are also experiencing. The industries, in engaging with them, especially those that came with investment commitments, so far have showed us where jobs are being created. From the oil and gas and from the free zone alone, we have jobs created of at least 5 million. We took a tour of different industries, engaged them to find out what they were doing in the area of expanding their operation, the area of deepening their investment, and we got investment commitments from even existing industries. We visited Coca-Cola, who made a pledge. We visited Unilever and other industries who have made pledges to stay and to continue to stay in Nigeria by deepening their investment. To even further deepen investment drive, my ministry is creating the Catalytic Investment Unit. That unit is going to then support further investment drive into the country by establishing the Diaspora Investment Initiative. We are partnering with the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. I also know you saw that also in the media, and we'll be launching the Diaspora Fund very, very soon. In addition to that, we have other initiatives for deepening investment, and we'll be coming with those initiatives and announcing them as they materialize. To make it easier, there's always an element called risk in business. For Nigerians, the risk of investment is a lot higher. We've engaged with multinational institutions like Afrexim, African Development Bank, BOI, even Murphy, to find a way to de-risk investments coming into the real sector of the economy. And I'm sitting here telling you that before coming here, we got more investment commitment in what they call the Project Preparation Facility of at least 120 billion naira. What that means is that we now have the capacity to invest as a government directly into small institutions, small enterprises, to take the first loss of any business, to encourage further investment coming in from whether it's domestic or from foreign investors. That first loss is a major de-risker for investments, and we've been able to achieve that under this administration. It hasn't been done before, and that is kudos to the visionary leadership of His Excellency. That's speaking to investment. I talked about the amount of jobs that we'll be creating when these investments come in. To be able to capture these jobs that will be created, we are now going to be launching, under the mandate of His Excellency, job centers. Starting with the virtual job center, we are also going to match it with physical job centers in all states of the Federation. We started with the one in Abuja from the facility that's been donated to us by Sweden, a full warehouse where we will put computers for job seekers to come. We have agreements from all the manufacturers, the industrialists, organized real sector, to list all the opportunities that I have just mentioned to you here, be they in the free zone or in the custom region. List your opportunities so that Nigerians can have access to these employment opportunities that we are creating. People don't know that Shell will be hiring. We will just hear. But if I did not sit here to tell you that there is Shell gas and that they're expanding operation and it's going to be huge, and because of that, millions of jobs will be created, you wouldn't know. And when these opportunities break, sometimes we also don't know. Our youth don't have the opportunities to apply. And even when they apply, is there anyone monitoring and supporting and following the process to ensure that the selection and the recruitment process is transparent and foolproof? Now that's what the job center is going to do. For all job opportunities that will be created by our industries, it's the private sector that creates jobs. Industrial growth, economic growth is driven by the private sector. For us to track and monitor the progress of these employment opportunities and make sure that employment opportunities get to everybody who deserves it, we are creating the job center. People can apply online. They can go online and see available opportunities and take advantage of it. The job center also serves as a facility for training and empowering people. For example, a lot of people don't even know how to write CVs or how to sit in an interview and answer interview questions. We will do those job preparatory trainings and upskilling to make them job ready. To further even support the job opportunities, from our manufacturers, we hear that apart from the jobs not being available, we don't even have the skills within Nigeria. A lot of them say we don't have skills to fill the manufacturing opportunities. And because of that, we empowered the Industrial Training Fund, which is also an agency under my ministry, what we call the Artisan Licensing and Certification Scheme. We have over 70 million artisans, people who don't have formal education, and even people who have formal education but want to be self-employed. They don't want to work for anyone. They believe in their own handiwork, and it cuts across all sectors of the economy, starting from construction, carpentry, mechanics, sewing, tailoring, name it, even hairdressing. Abroad, when you go abroad, before you can be an artisan, you must have your certificate, you must have your license. Because you have your license, people have increased confidence in your ability to perform your job. And because of that, you earn a higher fee. So we also witnessing an issue of not just unemployment, but also underemployment. Underemployment is when you're given a job or you're paid below your ability and capacity to earn. We have vibrant youth, vibrant people here, intelligent and innovative. But we are not getting the kind of jobs that we deserve most of the time because we do not have the skills. Now we are going to start the skilling, reskilling, and upskilling of our youths to make them employable. Then they can be hired by construction companies, by fashion and design, name it, whatever skill it is that you're interested in, we will have it. We are signing an MOU with the German government to provide us curriculum. That curriculum is an international certification. We're also signing an MOU with City and Guild, you know it, the UK certifying agency, to also give us certification for those who meet and pass the qualifying test for this upskilling. What that means is that our people, Nigerians, can take a certificate and work anywhere in the world. You can go anywhere and show them a certificate of competency, and you'll be hired to do the job that you know best how to. And you can earn a commensurate income for your own abilities and your competency. When the president traveled around, these countries came to him and told him that they have vacancies in their industries, in their manufacturing sector. And he told them, well, we have a lot of people. We have the skills in-house that can fill your vacancies. And because of that, he launched the National Talent Export Program at UNGA 98 on the sidelines of the UNGA. We went there, we launched NATEP. What NATEP really does is to identify the people in Nigeria and match them with vacancies internationally. You don't have to leave Nigeria to actually have an opportunity to work in an international organization. Now we have what they call global freelancing opportunities. So if you have this skill, you can actually sit in the comfort of your home and participate in those available vacancies abroad. And for those who need to be physically present, we will process your immigration, give you the necessary work permit visas, and then you can go and earn your job dignified. You don't have to go there in shame. You're hiding when the immigration people are coming, you see police, you run. And then you go there under what they call modern slavery, and you take up jobs that you know you don't want or you don't deserve just because you want to make ends meet. The president said no, Nigerians can't go through that. Let us set up a scheme that can equip Nigerians and pass them through talent exchange programs, where if anybody wants to go abroad, he has the right skill, and we can also vouch to the countries that they're going to, that these are citizens of Nigeria, and you must give them the benefits that they deserve. And we launched that program, and that program is ongoing. Now, on industries, when we guaranteed the industrialists and the manufacturers that will give them skills, we'll give them jobs, we'll give them people who can do and fill up their gaps, they committed to increasing their production. And we also recommitted to them that we'll remove all bottlenecks hampering production, we'll remove all bottlenecks hampering the ease of doing business. We went on a road show, we engaged them. They told us their challenges and we gave them solutions. And we are today unblocking and unraveling those impediments that's been hampering businesses. All of these, when put together, we will see increase in production, import substitution, even export. Now we have signed into the African Continental Free Trade Area, which means we must participate. If you don't export, if you're not competitive, you become a warehouse of receiving other people's own inputs, whether it's finished goods or it's agricultural materials. For us to be competitive, we must deepen our trading, increase global access to markets, make sure that our SMEs have the opportunity to compete. And the best way to do that is, one, negotiate a favorable trade agreement. When you negotiate an agreement that empowers our SMEs to participate globally, not just within Africa, anywhere in the world, you reduce your exposure to export rejects. Today we hear that when we export things to Europe, they dump our agricultural produce in the ocean because they are being rejected. And they're rejected because we are not passing them through the right standards and through the right process. Or we do not have the necessary agreement to enter into a bilateral agreement or bilateral trading with these countries. We've simplified that, and we're signing those agreements to enable our exporters export, earn foreign exchange, and create jobs and employment locally. We've signed a number of agreements, and we're still negotiating a number of agreements to even further facilitate the SMEs having access to international markets. We've created a global marketplace. We're still creating it, where all SMEs can list their products and take advantage of this market. Using digital technology, you can sit in your country today and sell to anybody abroad. We've all known about Alibaba, we know about Amazon. Now we're creating a Nigerian version here to support our SMEs to be able to facilitate trading and increase global market access for them. On the back of that, we have a call center that helps us to reach to them and them to reach us to be able to remove whatever bottlenecks that they have to make it easier for them to trade. We've gone into a number of bilateral agreements, and you will see the impact of all of that. I know one of the latest one we signed was the Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership with the United Kingdom. That was signed on Tuesday, and unfortunately generated a few issues because of misinterpretation or misunderstanding of the legal clause. And I will explain that maybe in the question and answer session. Now we're talking about ease of doing business. The easiest way to use the ease of doing business is to automate. The CAC has been mandated to start 24-hour online registration for businesses. So when you apply, within 24 hours online, you get your businesses registered. Plus other trade facilitation initiatives that we're embarking on, including revamping and relaunching the National Trade Facilitation Committee in partnership with all other border agencies, SON, Custom, NAFDAC, bringing them to the table to ensure that all those bottlenecks that we have hampering exports are removed. Someone called me and said, oh, do you know you have to go through 78 checkpoints before your goods are exported? This Trade Facilitation Committee will remove that bottleneck and ensure that we are able to transport and export easily. On the area of export, the most important area is when you export, you must repatriate your export proceeds. We must see the exports. We must also see the FX coming back in. Without FX, we cannot come out of the current FX challenges that we have. I engaged the oil and gas sector, and because of that, given the mandate from the president, we issued them additional requirement to show us the export proceeds, meaning the FX that they sold when they exported, before we can continue to issue them export permit. Export permit and export licenses are given by this ministry. We also engaged the non-oil and gas exporters to do the same thing, and they are complying. Now everybody is now adjusting their method of operation to make sure that they meet that requirement. And we're going to continue to witness an influx of our export proceeds coming back in. We're working in partnership with Customs, with CBN, and Ministry of Finance to make this happen. On the back of that, we committed to automating that whole export permit process to make it even more transparent and for people to actually see and match and even audit the whole process and ensure that everything that is being exported is being repatriated back. On other interventions that we have, as you are aware, the president made available 200 billion for intervention to SMEs, MSMEs. That fund, the recipients are currently undergoing verification exercise and working with SMIDA and BOI. We should start releasing that fund to them to make it easier. And that is part of increasing access to financing, access to cheaper capital or access to financing at all. With continued investment, you will see more investment going into real sector. You will also see those who want to access debt, that's loans, have access to it. As you are aware, the president also launched the Consumer Credit Initiative. So you can actually multiply, if you're earning 10 naira and you have a 100 naira credit line in your credit card, it means your purchasing power has been multiplied by 10 times. When your purchasing power, the purchasing power of those who are consuming is improved, in GDP calculation or in calculating economic growth, 80% of the GDP is accounted for by consumption. So when consumption is increased, it means that producers and manufacturers can produce more because there's a guarantee that people will buy what they are producing. When that inventory is assured that there will be an offtake of your inventory, banks will give the manufacturers money to produce more. That way you will see the multiplier effect of just one single reform having on the economy, and we are going to see and witness an exponential growth in the economy itself. And that is how we will achieve the double-digit growth in GDP as well as the 1 trillion growth. The investments we're seeing will come into bridging the infrastructural deficit that we've seen, reflecting the economy with FX, creating jobs, reducing inflation, and also assuring that there is food and there is funding in your pocket to even access other essential or non-essential items that you may wish to consume. Speaking about food security and speaking about increasing or deepening export, we've revamped the Nigerian Commodity Exchange. The role of the exchange as a market maker is to ensure that when investments are going into the commodity sector, they can de-risk. De-risk here means that you remove the uncertainty of who will buy my product, what price will I sell my product, and the uncertainty of even financing and funding. Most times, we find it very difficult as farmers to get people to to give us loans. So we always find default to either private sector people coming to give you inputs or fertilizers, but you're subject to them. With the commodity exchange, the entire value chain of commodity. Commodity here means solid mineral, agriculture, metals, oil and gas. But we start with focusing on agriculture and eventually metals and solid minerals. What the commodity exchange does, basically, it's already an established parastatal. We're just revamping it to do much more than it's currently doing. So this is its function. It's not a new thing, but what we're doing new here is making it more functional. Is that it can actually bring investment directly to the farmers through the issuance of warehouse receipts and upgrading of the warehouses and the logistics system. We can guarantee that what you produce in the farm will not perish because we have over 70% post-harvest losses. You can put it in the right warehouse. If you're producing vegetable, you put it in a temperature-controlled warehouse or a cold facility. It preserves your goods and makes it last longer until somebody comes to buy from you. Rather than just buying and packing it, half of it is lost before it gets to the market, and thereby you're losing your income. When you put your produce in a warehouse facility that is being maintained and managed by the commodity exchange, they give you a warehouse receipt that you can take to the bank and get a loan to farm more to support your consumption, pending when you're able to sell your product. But on the back of that, it also gives a guarantee to the manufacturers that there's raw material. Most of our industries here are agro-processing industries. There's a guarantee to the manufacturers that there will be constant supply of raw material because they would have paid, and we can guarantee that the farms are being produced, are being farmed on, and the right quantity and the right quality of produce are being farmed on. Now, to support further on the industrialization drive, with all of these things that we've said, we started identifying all our industries and putting them in clusters to be able to give them direct intervention that they need to make them more vibrant. We are working with Afrexim Bank, AFDB, BOI, and Murphy to ensure that this is done. And I can assure you and guarantee that when we finish identifying and mapping our industries and we can guarantee the feasibility of these industries, that's when you will see an influx of investments directly into these facilities or into these businesses to bring them up to speed and bring them up to international standard. The investment costs across different sectors, from oil and gas to heavy industries to name it, agriculture, etc. So I hope, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, you've understood what we've been doing in the ministry, and just to assure you and to guarantee you that with these initiatives, the economy is set to grow, it's set to explode, it's set to expand. It's just a matter of time, and most of the initiatives are actually short-term. We should be seeing some of these things taking effect before the third quarter of this year. So I believe that 2024 is a bountiful year, it's going to be a great year, and we will see all of these initiatives and policies kicking in to reduce the inflation that we are seeing across our value chains and see improve in job creation and job uptake as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, MC, please, can you take on the question and answer? Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, for that excellent presentation. Thank you so much. Let me formally welcome to the platform the Special Advisor to Mr. President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga. We welcome, sir. Thank you for coming. Thank you. We are going into a very important segment of this briefing. The media, they say, is the mirror of the society. While we believe the people have the right to know how they are being governed, it is the responsibility of government to tell Nigerians how they are bettering their lives too. That is the essence of this platform. Having said this, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are transiting into the question and answer segment of this briefing. Please, let me say this, and I will repeat again. When you are recognized to speak, please you tell us your name, the media organization you are representing, and please restrict your questions to the issues addressed by the Honorable Minister in her presentation. Let us be decent enough in the use of language. At this juncture, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to declare the floor open for your questions. Just raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll take the first 3. As time permits, we'll continue like that. Please.
Good day, Honorable Minister. My name is Amadin Uyi, Abuja Bureau Chief, News Central Television. Now, my question is on the National Talent Export Program. I remember clearly when it was unveiled at the sidelines of Onga. That is almost 5 months ago. It came with so much promises. And Nigerians believe that that is one of the most novel programs for youths from this administration. But we started counting from September. It's already 5 months. We understand that it requires a whole of government approach. That in as much as it was unveiled by the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment, it requires a whole of government approach. It requires input from the Ministry of Health, because we know the demand for Nigerian doctors and nurses in UK and Asia. It requires input from other ministries to support it. We had expected that before now, we would have been hearing something like what the military will call a command center, a central coordinating point, because when it was unveiled, the president, in fact, gave a timeline and insisted that, and rather told Nigerians that in like 5 years we should expect this program to have impacted on so and so million Nigerians. But like I said, we started counting. It's already 5 months. We want to know what has been achieved in this regard and what to expect, what other timelines the ministry is putting, so that at the end of this administration, it will not just be a talk show, promise given but not achieved. Thank you.
The second question, yes. Yes, the man on white. Okay.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Sonny Daniel. I worked with Vanguard newspapers. One of the problems Nigeria is facing today is that the industries that the governments of Nigeria privatized and commercialized some years ago, that program is more of a scam. Nigeria and Nigerians do not derive any significant benefit from what was privatized and commercialized. Most of those companies, those who bought them, merely stripped the assets and become billionaires. They sell the assets and become billionaires. The places where the industries were standing have become bush as of today. I don't want to mention names, but if you want, I'll give you a list of the companies that were at least producing at 50% installed capacity. But today, the place is lying fallow. Is it not possible, or is it not in the interest of this country that the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment should take back those companies and sell them to willing, capable companies to run them, so that the GDP of Nigeria can improve? The forex problem that the country is facing today could be reversed if such companies are taken back. They were sold by government, and the law is not cast on stone that we must keep quiet, and the fortunes and commonwealth of Nigeria is jeopardized by a few powerful people who were close to the government, and they took those companies not because they were competent or able to manage them. Thank you very much.
The child word. Yes, let's have you, please. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Lee Onusigbe, Nigerian Tribune. Honorable Minister, you have spoken about your program to encourage export, and you have also said that those exporters must show the foreign exchange they have earned in order to qualify for new approval. So I want to find out from you, Madam, what are the measures in place to ensure that people actually declare the foreign exchange they have earned, so that they may be qualified for the next round of approval? Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you may wish to respond to some of these questions at this point.
Thank you, MC. Thanks to those that asked questions. The first question was from Amadi Uye, or NATEP, 5 months gone. But we have a 5-year target. I agree with you, time is going, but we're doing a whole lot. So yes, the command and control center is within our ministry, and we've actually established a unit to handle it. So as we speak now, we've been engaging with different international communities, organizations, and chambers of commerce and industries in different countries to take up our talent. And we are actually making a lot of headway. We're in the process of signing different MOUs with different countries, because it comes with the immigration issues as well. So we're finalizing MOUs with different countries who are interested in the jobs, in the skills that we have here. Skills across different sectors of the economy, like you rightly said. And also the different organizations and companies that will take them in different countries, from the USA to America, Canada, China, Germany, UAE, name them. So once we firm up all of those, within the next couple of months, we will then open up the portal, and then those who already have the talents that they're looking for can begin to apply. And like we said, those who don't even have the talent, we go through the skill development program that we've also put in place for them to be upskilled. Already, the ITF has opened up its portal for super, for those artisans who are interested, and you can apply online, and while we're waiting to roll up that program. So that program is ongoing. That we are working is like the iceberg. You see the tip, but most of it is below the surface of the ocean. Once we are done, it's just 5 million. We promise 1 million jobs in 5 years. To be honest with you, we will do more than 1 million. So to get 1 million people in this country is not difficult. But we want to make sure that they have the right opportunities, and that they will also not be taken advantage of when they go abroad. The second question from Sonny Vanguard on privatization and our assets. Okay, I agree with you also on what you've said. Well, you know the National Council on Privatization has just been relaunched. And those assets that you're talking about, including those that were privatized before, moribund, and currently even operating, are part of the catalog of assets that we are presenting to both the domestic and foreign investors to take up. These assets are actually under the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, because they have the right under the Murphy Act to control all those assets. And like I mentioned in my presentation, we are working with them to ensure that we can actually revitalize some of these industries, even including restructuring them and getting them investment ready. So they are part of the pipeline of investments that we have for both the diasporas, domestic investors, and the global foreign investors that we have. So those are the ones that we call the brownfield assets. We're also developing greenfield assets. So, but we start with the brownfield assets, government-owned assets, and private-owned assets. We have a number of companies that have also approached us that they're looking for investment, and they're also part of the pipeline. So those who are looking for investment can also approach us. We put them in our pipeline in the different sectors of the economy for those who are interested. For example, healthcare. We have pipeline for healthcare, for agriculture, for mining. We put all these companies, and when investors come, we showcase all of them to them, and then they do their due diligence and business-to-business matching, and hopefully those investments, you can see them materialize and come in. From the Tribune, you asked, what do we have in place to ensure that we can enforce the repatriation of the export proceeds that we talked about? I mentioned to you that we are currently automating the export proceeds. We are currently automating the export proceeds application process. Sorry, export permit application process. Working with an Ministerial and NTA platform where everybody who exports will issue the returns, give us returns for what they exported, and give us telexes, their bank account details that we can verify with central bank to ensure that there are no manipulating figures, and we can actually see that the money is really there before we can grant them the next export permit or export license. That process is automated, or is being automated, to ensure transparency and audit. And it's there, I mean, once we launch it, then Nigerians can have access to it through any audit firm that we nominate. Thank you. Okay, I've been also asked to clarify on ETIP. Yes, there is a misconception that the agreement was signed with the UK, but the Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership means that UK lawyers will not come to Nigeria to practice. To be honest, there's nothing like that in the agreement. That portion of the agreement under legal services is still being negotiated, and the Ministry of Justice is leading the negotiation on it. Let me just use the opportunity to explain a little bit of the process of negotiation. When negotiations or a country initiates a readiness to go into partnership with another country, in the case of Nigeria, I will speak to Nigeria. We have an interministerial enlarged national focal point. So we call together all ministries, private sector, organized private sector, and civil society organizations to come together in a stakeholder meeting and take up the areas that concerns them. For example, health. The Ministry of Health will send representatives either from the military ministry or NAFDAC or any of their agencies that topic or protocol speaks to. Digital technology, we reach out to Ministry of Digital and Information Technology. Trade, the Department of Trade handles investment, the Department of Investment and NIPC handles. The one on legal services, in fact, all of them, whether it concerns legal services or not, the Ministry of Justice leads the trade negotiations. And they go exchanging texts. The negotiations are actually quite tough. In the case of the ETIP, the team worked tirelessly back and forth to ensure that a text, even is, are, shall, will, everything is as we want it, and that there's an agreement between the two parties before any agreement is signed. So there is nothing saying, or the agreement did not even speak. Sorry, it's even a non-binding MOU. It's an MOU, it's not even a law. It didn't speak to practices, lawyers practicing in the different jurisdictions. It just spoke to cooperation, how you cooperate with your legal service. Yet that is still under, is one of the texts that we did not conclude on, and it's still under negotiation. So I just want to clarify that we did not in any way include in the agreement that lawyers from Nigeria will practice in the UK or lawyers from the UK will practice in Nigeria. And the issue of practicing is a law, is a legal, they have to go through the law and the statutes of the country. We haven't even gotten there yet. So we're still at the initial stage of even agreeing areas to negotiate. So I hope that this puts to rest the issues that we've been seeing on social media, because nothing like that really exists. And for further information, it's better also to seek better clarification from the Ministry of Justice, who can also explain further on that particular item or clause. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. To the gentlemen of the media, this is the much we can take for today. I don't know if the chief host would like to make any remarks. Okay.
Thank you. It's just to emphasize, especially on the last point made by the Honorable Minister. If there is any issue that has come up that members of the media need clarification, it is important that they get to either the relevant ministry of NTA to get this clarification. There is no point just putting out stories here. But just as a way of also for emphasis, from this briefing we have heard that almost $30 billion is actually in Nigeria already, not coming, it's already here. $30 billion in investment as promised by Mr. President. In this 8 months, $30 billion already here. Now, she made something which is also very significant, and that has to do with Shell and some of the companies that are leaving. We have been told that Shell is actually remaining in Nigeria. In fact, Shell is expanding its operation in Nigeria, not leaving the country. We have also seen that in the health sector, where clarifications have been made. Because we've had stories that some of these companies are actually leaving. Some of them are only repurposing, and others are coming. So much investment is coming. It is important that we report this to the Nigerian public. We don't just report somebody is going. We want Nigeria to grow. It is important that we be patriotic about this country. If there is anything good in this country, let us report it. That is the only way Nigeria will grow. We don't have any other place to go than Nigeria. Please, I urge you, members of the media, much as government is struggling and trying very hard to ensure that you get credible, timely, honest, and transparent information, the onus is also on you to report this accurately, responsibly, and honestly to the Nigerian public, so that at least the country that we all call ours will be there. Now, she talked about, very important, I thought somebody was going to raise that. Well, somebody is asking whether, is this a commitment or an investment? 30 billion commitment or investment? Commitment, $30 billion commitment. Please let us get that language very correct. $30 billion commitment. Now, there is also an issue of the job centers, both virtual and practical, that have already been done. She talked about all the various MOUs that she has signed for trade, and she talked about the NATEP issue, the National Talent Export Program. Very importantly also, there is also the PEBEC issue, the Presidential Environment Business Council. You know, that one is aimed at ensuring that businesses have the right atmosphere to operate without any difficulty. Indeed, the Vice President launched it only about 2 months ago, and I'm aware that there's another meeting on PEBEC coming up in 2 days' time. So please let us report all these things for the benefit of our people. Thank you very much for coming. We have promised you that we will continue to engage with the Nigerian public through this platform. Next time we're going to have another minister to come here with members of his management team to explain to Nigerians what we are doing so that Nigerians will get to know what the truth is about the state of affairs of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation.
Is it a commitment or investment, the 30 billion, the investment? We want to explain for that?
Okay, so the question, when you say commitment, so for us in investment, when you say commitment, it means that you're committed to bring that money or a promise. So this is a commitment. So the money and the investment, the proposal, everything is done. They've already started building and they are continuing to build, and it's over a period of 5 to 8 years. You know, the monies, some of them will come in form of equipment, some of them will come in form of direct investment into manufacturing and into the facilities. So that fund, yes, is committed and is live. It is here already. So I don't know that we needed to ask.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen of the press. The reporters, editors, and all gentlemen of the media, we thank you for coming, and we also thank Mala Yusuf Ali for all the voluntary coordination work that he has been doing with members of our own team to ensure that this happens always. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Before we bring this meeting to a close, let me quickly inform you that immediately after the national anthem, the Honorable Ministers will now need to go at least extend the hand of good fellowship to every one of us. Thank you very much. May we please rise as we take the national anthem, please.
Part of this, the second edition of the Ministerial Press Briefing here at the National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. It's been an engaging moment that featured the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. And within the last few minutes, like an hour thereabout, Nigerians through the Nigerian Television Authority had the opportunity to watch live proceedings at this event where the minister made a lot of where the minister gave insight about the activities of her ministry within the last few months that she has been steering the activities of that all-important ministry that has to do with steps taken so far to improve investment and kind of improve the nation's economy. The takeaways are indeed heartwarming, as the minister already made it known that about $30 billion is already being committed in Nigeria, and a lot of plans are also underway to create jobs and improve the activities of medium, small enterprises across the country. I want to, on behalf of the outside broadcast crew from the National Press Center here in Abuja, appreciate you for being part of this show. I'm Saliu Gwanara, handing you over to our studio.